very unique racetrack. Almost nowhere do you go when you race an oval where you go back to the throttle in turn one, watching he's off the throttle, back to the throttle, climbing the hill, rolling the middle, now back off the throttle, and then accelerate again. You have to get your foot off that gas pedal in the middle of the corner to get the car rotated. Then you accelerate right at the exact time for corner exit. You do that a little bit at Dover, a style you can use there, but you have to do it here.
Is there a track where you finesse the car more than Darlington, Jeff?
Well, so, you know, that I think the thought when you come to Darlington is you hear it all the time. You have to race the racetrack. You have to use finesse. You have to use discretion. You can do all those things and go slow. You can't ride around this racetrack. You have to attack it. There's only one way to make pace here, and that's to attack. And you have to be at 98% all the time. If you don't, you're going to be going slow. So this is a great mix of how can you operate on the limit for as long as possible without making a mistake. Because there may be a few cars tomorrow night that can go fast without 100% effort from the driver, but the majority of drivers are going to have to be given everything they have the entire night.
Already much quicker than the spring, Steve, with the lap times. Michael McDowell right at the 29 flat mark. But is there a track where you're worried less as a crew chief, Steve, about the stopwatch, and you want more to know what your driver wants feel-wise out of the car?
I only want it to go fast. I'll be honest, I don't think.
So you don't care about the feel, you just want speed.
I don't care how it feels anywhere we go. I think that.
Sorry, Jeff.
I think that world of NASCAR is over. No, and here's why. It can't be undrivable. So I'm a little tongue-in-cheek. I can't have Jeff come in and say, man, I can't drive this thing, I'm going to wreck it. But I don't really care if it feels good. If it's fast, then, it's a contest of speed. It's not a ride contest. We're not driving Cadillacs out here in the interstate. We're racing. So I have to give my driver something that he can control for 500 miles. He has to be comfortable enough to be able to race around other cars. But, Jeff, would you rather have a bad driving fast car or a good driving slow one, right? I mean, I think you need something in the middle. It's fair, but you can't just give speed completely away.
Well, the truth is, this is a great shot. I mean, look at this. This is amazing. Look how close you get to the wall. The truth is, almost every driver is going to complain about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just some cars and drivers can... Oh, a little bit of contact.
That is the classic Darlington stripe, Jeff.
But that's what we talk about, right? I mean, you can ride around this racetrack and never do that, and never hit the wall, and you're going to go slow. You have to be operating way up in the limit. So here we go. Entering turn 3.
Getting 5 of them.
See, he's a little bit lower than the 6, trying to get a little bit of clean air, which is what you think you'd want to do, right? And then he gets up there and gets a little bit out of the groove and makes contact. But the truth is, you're better off entering high. You're better off entering up against the wall.
Probably still blend 15 back on the top side.
Make contact less when you enter against the wall versus running up the racetrack. And that's so counter, just not what you would think, Dave.
Jeff, I want to pick up on something that Steve said. Steve, it was like you, me, and team manager for RFK Racing, Doug Randolph, were having coffee together this morning because the subject was, it's not the way it used to be. And the subject was because they're bringing fast cars at RFK Racing. You saw that even with that wall contact, Ryan Preece is a fast race car this weekend. You expect the 6 and 17 to be fast as well. But it's not like it used to be. Doug said to me, you know what, it's not that they don't reward speed. They love speed. They reward winning. They don't reward consistency like they have in the past. So that was the message kind of around the shop this week. 10 races to go, 3 cars that can win for RFK Racing, but it is about the winning. The consistency doesn't matter as much, so go out there and go get them.
My only counter would be if you were consistently near the front, you could have made it on points like the 48 did or the 45 did. So the teams that say it's not about consistency weren't consistently fast enough. I do agree that, look, wins are the ultimate goal, right, Jeff? And a win puts you in the playoffs. A trophy is who we celebrate. We don't have a podium, right? Like, we celebrate the winner and only the winner. But if you're consistently top 5 or top 6, it's good enough. If you're consistently improving, I think that's everyone's goal. But you have to be, really, really good. The field is really as close as it's ever been.
That's the thing, Steve. It's so competitive that the guys that have the best chance to win are the ones that spend most of the time at the front of the pack. Watching, you know, we're lap 13 on runs, cars that they've fallen out off, you know, second and a half of time from when they first unloaded, ran their first lap. This guy right here, Noah Gregson, he's been pretty quick. I've been paying attention. He was able to make some passes, was able to run the bottom, run the top. Noah's got to be pretty happy with his car right now. As fast as anybody, fifth fastest in this group. But when I look at later run speed and the ability for him to move around the racetrack and run different places, I feel like Noah's got to be pretty happy.
Former Xfinity Series winner here is Noah Gregson, and it's one track where you can kind of go, Jeff, but you get into a rhythm and you can apply it maybe from Xfinity to Cup versus other tracks.
Yeah, I think so. I think drivers, they tend to like this track or not like it. You know what I mean? It's something, people feel the same way about Martinsville. People feel the same way about Homestead, places that can be very, very challenging. Some drivers go right to it. Noah's one of those people that like
05 to Noah, 518 for both.
This type of racetrack. Likes it when it gets slick. Car slides around a little bit. You see 10 lap averages. Noah is 5th.
And Haley the quickest. So Steve, how does this team build off of that near win last week at Daytona? I mean, he was a lap short of being in the playoffs and winning at Daytona.
Well, this goes back to what Dave is reporting on, right? Being consistent. And I think that's what Spire has done. Look, they're first, second, and fourth right there on the fastest lap. I know this is just Group 1, but I know last week was close. But the goal is, how do you build? He goes, it got real all of a sudden that we could have a new winner. So I think Haley's doing an amazing job. You know, this is a great track. 3 top 10s here.
Yep.
So this is a track, to your point, Jeff, that he's obviously found some comfort or confidence at. That's the idea of building.
Yeah, if you look at that top 5 from Daytona, 4 of them were non-winners going into that race, Jeff. So I agree with Alex Bowman. It was really real for those final 5 laps that there would be a brand new winner last Saturday night.
We needed an Alex Bowman cam. That
that would have been fantastic.
At least like
12 minutes left.
One of them whoop bands with just the heart rate.
Yeah, I know.
His heart rate's going up, folks. He's sitting in his bus. It's just...
Start finish. Coming into 1 right
said he and his
now.
crew chief are watching it together, right? And it was all relaxed until about 10 to go. Then he's like, oh, this is real.
How does one repay 7 million beers? That's what I want to know. Said he owed Ryan Blaney 7 million beers after the race?
You know what's required?
What's that?
Commitment. And some friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how you repay him, but if Blaney's going to cash it in, I'll help him.
We need some help.
Exactly.
We're team players, Marty.
Jeff, how would you evaluate the regular season for Carson Hocevar?
So look, I think a good year for Carson. You know, we've talked steps. So I think time is in this guy's favor. I think it helps him. The thing he has that everybody wants to see, and with that, he can be successful. So I think another year of Cup racing, getting himself in those situations as he's trying to figure out when to push, when not to push. I think time helps, and then the ability to take a step back. And not, you have to listen to the noise, because the noise is some of the criticisms that he needs to.
Sure.
But understand when it's his fault and when it's not, and don't let him pile on and take his spirit and his energy away. Be a better driver. Try to work with the teammates and the drivers on track better, but don't take away his spirit. That's a hard thing to do. Slowing a guy down at the right time and also keep him pumped up.
Dave, fourth fastest so far for Carson Hocevar.
Looking good, Marty. In my first conversation with fans in the garage area this morning, they said, hey, we're from Mattawan, Michigan. That's not far from where Carson Hocevar grew up in Portage and Dave Burns in Kalamazoo. So we had a good conversation about this driver, and they love watching him race here. Jeff, I want to ask you, one of the things that the spotter's been trying to get him to do, it's important here at Darlington, back up your entry. How does that help here at Darlington?
Well, so what's interesting, you know, is all of the spotters, they have driver data. They can look and see where their driver's getting beaten and where they're better. And so I'm sure what his spotter is looking at, Tyler Green is looking and saying, hey, you're carrying too much speed on corner entry, and that's hurting you through the middle. It's hurting your exit. Let's try to back that up a little bit. See if we can give up a little bit of speed and then maybe go back to the gas sooner to make your center of the corner speed better. It's just great information, live, on time, with limited practice, Marty. It's something that these teams have found a way to do, is to get
about a half straightaway gap.
information to the drivers faster so they can adapt. Because, Steve, if a driver can make an adjustment and make the car better, that makes it easier for everybody. It's not always a better setup. In many cases, driving style can help, and they can
That'll be your best gap. You're evenly spaced between them now. The 54's lap
do that
28
quickly.
of his run.
I think that's what makes this track so a little bit fresher tires make such a difference. I mean, it's just a handful, 4 or 5 laps over most guys, but man, it's a big difference.
Steve, Brad Keselowski won here.
Gonna come right side. You'll be good behind them.
The last
All clear.
or no in your opinion?
Well, disappointment for sure.
Right.
I know they added the third car, and that's a tall task, and I give them probably an A or a B plus on adding the Priest car. Thought that's as well of an expansion as we've seen in recent years.
Very good point.
But an A on the third car, but it moved the Brad car to probably a C. It definitely hurt the 6. I feel like the 17 is kind of right there where he always is. It just, the cards didn't fall the right way. He maybe could have won a race. The 6 was the disappointment. This 60 car, outstanding. I feel like if we would have had the Brad Keselowski we had the last 5 weeks all year, he would have been solidly in the playoffs. They just got off to an ice-cold start. And you know, we talk about how long the season is, but I'm going to tell you, if you get off to a bad start for 5 weeks, there's not enough weeks left in the regular season unless you can win. Winning's the golden ticket.
Think about what
Some
you
near
need
misses.
to be able to use
Yes,
left.
they came so close multiple times. And in today's world, winning a race, that is huge. And when you have it right in front of you, you have to find a way to execute. So a solid year for this team, but this series is built on making the playoffs. This team is capable. RFK has continued to improve. The last several years, they've gotten better and better and better. And the next step is not just make playoffs, but to put multiple.
You know, learn some things obviously in the playoffs. How do they take these 10 races now to make 6?
Well, that is the mindset, right? Just go win races. Go those near misses. Let's get them now. Like, let's go and just continue to improve. It is a different feel when you're not in the playoffs.
You're
That's
better
when,
than 3 and 4 than a 54. He just runs a little bit higher on the entry to 1. Not a bad lap.
all right, so give us some great information. Think you're better, but he runs a little bit higher on the entry of 1. Maybe you want to try that. But just use these next 10 as a springboard to next year.
I love what you were saying.
And points.
Yeah.
You can keep climbing the points. And that is a sign of where you are as a company. And financially, that matters too. So work on keep climbing those points.
Adjustments, get it cooled down.
Marty, the 6 team waited a few laps before they went out on track. So Brad has about 7 less laps on his car than the car that has run the most laps so far today. And if you look back at that highlight from last year, Brad winning here, he knows what he likes in this current generation car and how to win here. He's got 2 wins at this track, but recent memory and recent understanding is so important. So when he radioed his crew today and said, I think the car is pretty good, then he knows. Let's go to Mama Smith.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning here, guys, at the racetrack down on pit road. Crisp, the sun's out, but this is not how we're going to be racing. So Jeff, Steve, how are the teams and the drivers going to adjust? How much can you really learn practicing in the morning like this? Obviously, it's cool out, but it's not going to be as cool when we go racing later on tomorrow night.
So, Jeff, I actually think this is close to probably finishing conditions. You know, tomorrow night when the Southern 500 finishes under the lights, and their track temperature probably very similar to this. So, man, is Todd Gilliland gets a little high off turn 2 right there. I think that's really it. And actually, as silly as this sounds, I think it changes a track like this that's low grip. It's less of a swing than a high grip racetrack like maybe Charlotte or Indy. 34 has had an eventful practice right here. This is exiting turn. Pickles getting on TV, just putting on the show.
Why not, right? But to your point, when I was in the garage area earlier, Steve, talking to a lot of crew chiefs, they really felt like, certainly, maybe not for Group A because the track was so clean, but putting rubber on the track with Group A, once Group B gets on the track, they'll get a real read for what it's going to be like late in the race tomorrow night.
Yeah, I really think the track changes more with the rubber than it does with the temperature. You can still learn a lot. Like right here, the 71 at McDowell's learning a lot behind the 54. You're going to have to find a way to be good in traffic once you like your car. Now, the 71 has 22 laps on his tires, the 54, 35. So if we follow this for a couple laps, if you're the 71, you should be able to go by the 54, no problem. And if you can't with 12-lap fresher tires, then you have an issue. Because he can't.
And Ty Gibbs actually a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the difficulty to pass and dirty air and all that. Yeah, that's fine. There's 36 of you. You're going to have the same problem. So, you know, this 71 should be able to run lower, specifically down here in 3 and 4. I think is where you can get out of the wake of the 54. Here you go. He's going to do it. He's going to run lower. This is where you got to inch your way in. He's just unable to complete this pass. 54. This is probably the car of all the cars that miss the playoffs. It's either Buescher or Ty Gibbs that shocked me the most. I really thought Ty, even without a win, just driving for Gibbs, I thought he was going to be able to figure it out.
If you're the Gibbs cars that are in the playoffs, you're watching this practice and you're pretty happy. Because this 54 car, they have good speed. They took off fast. He is a runner-up finisher here, so he knows how to get around this racetrack. And his long-run speed is really good. So information coming from this team to the other teams where they can make some potential changes to make their cars better. But starting already with a car that you know has good speed, that means at least you have a good baseline to build on. You take a team like Penske, they don't have any other car. Hendrick, they don't have other cars, right? So they don't know what they've got until their practice starts. But Gibbs has an opportunity, Joe Gibbs Racing has an opportunity to learn from this team.
All the playoff cars in Group B. But Steve, focusing on this 54 team, I'm curious, now that the sort of hanging out there, are we going to make the playoffs or not going to make the playoffs? Now that that's out of the equation for Ty Gibbs, on some level, does that take the pressure off this young driver?
Well, the reality is here. I don't know if it changes the pressure. I hope it changes the motivation. I hope he's disappointed to take the green flag not in the playoffs. I heard this hurts his feelings a little bit because I think that's the type of motivation that really helps a young driver. He's now over 100 wins. I think the next stepping stone for Ty
100 starts.
I'm sorry, 100 starts. Yeah, 100 wins would be amazing. Well, I guess that's where my mind was going. The reason I said wins is because I think that, for me, is the next step for this 54. We could talk a lot of things, but it's winning a race. I think going to victory lane is the next springboard that Ty Gibbs needs to find a way to do. Oh, Zane Smith has spun around. I'm guessing he was trying to get to pit road and didn't make it. That would be my guess.
Pit road practice, maybe?
No, just so let's spin. We're good.
Let's find out together. Yes, indeed. Trying to get to pit
roads and all of motorsports around the world. Getting on the pit road at this racetrack is exceptionally challenging, and the reasons why is, number one, you can't see the entry. And when you can see it, if you haven't already gotten slowed down, it's too late. You have to slow down so much sooner than you think. And part of that is the transition from the banking of the racetrack to the apron. And then the apron is so dirty. It is so dirty. And we see every race here somebody misses it, almost every race.
Yeah, so pit roads at 3 and 4, which is narrow.
Out this morning in the pace car.
Yeah.
We're riding around, and I said, hey, Steve, let's go down the apron. And the minute you go on the apron, it sounds like you're running over 10,000 marbles constantly. Just stuff hitting the inner fender wells. And there's no way to clean that off. It's been like that since the beginning of time here at this racetrack, and it's still like that today.
But I think as a driver, you have to test it out. You got to get a feel for it, Jeff.
Well, I love that he spun out tonight. Look, man, that's what practice is about. Like, no damage, didn't do anything wrong. He found his limit, and he most likely won't make that mistake tomorrow.
Well, I think there's some more cars here with only 35 seconds left. I would make a hot pit road entry for sure. So let's see Carson Hocevar. Not a ton of experience compared to like a Brad Keselowski or Denny Hamlin. So let's see. I don't know if he's running another lap or he has time for another lap, but this might be a pit road entry. Jeff, where do you start thinking about it? Like, so he's running the top, so he's running another lap, right? So if you're the 77, I tell you right now in the front stretch, we're pitting next time. What info do you need, or what are you thinking as a driver, running this lap?
Well, one thing's for sure, I don't like that surprise. I don't like going down the back straightaway and then you say pit, 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 pit. Right. That puts me in a bad spot. So I really want to know early because I got to change mindset. And to be honest with you, if you're going into turn 3 and you're not thinking about how slow can I be, then you're not doing it right. You have to be willing to throw away what happens every other week where they get on you about getting on pit road speed, do all these things. Here it's about survival. You have to play defense a little bit. Here you go, pit this time.
I'll get behind you. He's going to run an extra lap. Now I'm furious because I wanted you to come last time. And if I tell you to pit, don't run an extra lap. You're killing my strategy.
He did cross with 1 second left, I believe.
Let's listen to the spot.
Do your best not to miss it. You know, you can. Already when you get there.
See how he had to slow down before he normally would? Like the pace into turn 3.
2, 1, line, now.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, you're at the line. Pit road speed starts. That was way conservative. Good job. Good job, Carson.
Yeah, right.
That's good enough. So, look, you have to enter turn 3.
But let me check it here, and we'll talk after.
Yeah, no, you told me that in the past. I just messed it up, so we'll get it right.
And then straights to about start finish or wherever Josh tells you.
Copy. Just remind me of corner lights. The sheet isn't in here yet.
Hello?
Hey, it's your man tank again. I just talked to the taste buds. We're all worried about you, Tim.
What do you mean? I love eating veggies. So?
You're really sure?
Yeah, man. Seriously.
You're not doing this to me, Tim.
Guys did stop and wait for the track to come in, but yeah, basically some guys dragged their feet, some guys didn't like it, so they took off, and it just kind of got messy. Double. 4.
A good track for us. We were watching Group 1 to kind of see the pace, what the fast lap was, what they fell off to, just kind of know what that is. But really focusing on our group and our car and what we learned from the first race to now. So trying to get hopefully a long run or 2 long runs in here with the set of tires, and then learn a lot about the tire, the wear, where the car starts, where it falls off to, and get as much learning in for tomorrow as we can.
You mentioned the tire. I hear this term all the time, keeping the tires underneath you, racing the racetrack. What does that mean from a crew chief's perspective to your driver?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 things. The tires are wearing, so that one tire wears more than the other, and then becomes a balance issue. And then you have tire temperature. So if a tire gets hotter than another tire, it loses grip faster, and then that becomes the problem area. So you're trying to determine what corner that is, try to keep those tires underneath you so you don't get that balance issue. That's a driver's perspective, and then we're trying to fix it so they wear and heat up evenly.
Appreciate your time. Rudy Fugle is going to get the headset back on. His car's beginning to almost come to life here as the drivers get buttoned up behind the wheel. And he mentioned it's been a good racetrack. They won the spring race here a couple of years ago. I know they would really love to kick off the playoffs and continue that regular season championship momentum here with the Southern 500 win. An average finish at 9.4 for Willie B. Really good optimism coming into this first race of the playoffs.
The 243 laps here in the spring, and the win just did not come to them. That's a team, Alex, that started the season off strong, winning the Daytona 500. However, they've been here and there. They've been meandering their way through the season, but still eligible to win the regular season championship. So there have been pockets of consistency, but also pockets of challenges as well.
Well, it's now time to put it all together, and you're able to stub your toe a time or two, especially when you win early like they did in the Daytona 500. So the opportunity is to win the championship. You've got 10 weeks, 10 races to get that job accomplished.
Group 2 cars are coming up. First from Darlington Raceway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is
rolled out the bottom and got up some speed down the back. Just make sure the gap's not too big to a lollygagger in there.
Yeah, don't let the gap be too big for the second time by, you're saying?
Yeah.
Almost entering on it, and there's a couple guys kind of got it on entry into 3, either on the seam or just getting in too deep. And then some guys kind of running the radius on exit of 3 or exit of 4. Some other guys kind of splitting that top seam where the 54 was most of. Copy. The 2 was a little more shaded for the first group than it is now. The middle of the corner will be shaded, but by the time you start turning off the wall for the exit, you'll go back into the sun.
Yeah, big dog. I got you. 3 minutes away.
Copy that.
1 versus lap 40.
Yeah, for us, we're building for the race run. There's a lot of tire wear, a lot of decoration here. So the short run doesn't really mean much. The long run's really what pays the bills, and that's kind of what we were focusing on there. So I feel like our short run speed's a little bit slower than what it will be in qualifying. But I'm very happy with my car. Just make a little bit of adjustments on my end and on the car's end. We'll be really good.
I appreciate it. That's Ty Gibbs again. So far, so good in practice. Steve Post, you've caught up with another driver.
Yeah, it looked like fastest on the 10-lap average here, Justin Haley. Justin, it looked good on the speed charts. How did it feel from the driver's seat?
Yeah, it felt good. We were pretty good. Got to thank everyone at Espero Motorsports and the Gamebridge Chevy. About a fast beast. So yeah, we'll see as the temperatures wear here, and Group 2 goes out. Obviously, with the playoff cars in it, it'll be a tick quicker. So yeah, we'll see how the weekend goes. But long Southern 500, but a good start to it.
Good start, that's for sure. Justin Haley going to get ready to follow along in this second group of practice here this morning.
Yeah, and you got to break down your weekend, Mike. Yes, the Southern 500 is the big deal. That's tomorrow night. But your weekend for the Cup Series starts right now. You got to do well in practice. Then the next thing, you have to do well in qualifying. You can check the first box off for Justin Haley and that race team.
Right now, Group 2 getting ready to go, and it is a stacked group. This is where all of the playoff drivers are going to go out. The only other ones are Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, and Daniel Suarez. They're the 3 non-playoff drivers. Then you get to Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, and Tyler Reddick, all slated to go in Group 2.
Along with Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Shane Van Gisbergen, Christopher Bell, Josh Berry, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney. Mike, in your opinion, is there a driver or team here in the playoffs as we get set to start the playoffs that has the most pressure on them? I know there's pressure on every team. Is there a team that has the most on them, in your opinion?
I think that the most pressure is on Denny Hamlin because this is his 19th playoff appearance. He has 0 championships to show for it, and it's this time every single year where the questions come up. Is this the year? Can you win the championship? Can you make it to the championship 4? Can you make it to the round of 8? Because coming in, the last month or so has not been the best for Denny Hamlin. The pressures of obviously what's going on the racetrack, the pressures with Denny in 2311, and what's going on in the courtroom outside of the racetrack. There's a lot of pressure. It can be induced from outside forces, but also induced from inside forces. And I think until he wins that championship, Denny Hamlin will always feel the most pressure in this time of year.
You're right about that. And he is a driver and a person, quite frankly, that admittedly thrives, in his opinion, in chaos. And I don't know that we've had more chaos for Denny Hamlin right now, both on the racetrack and off the racetrack, than what he has right now here in the 2025 calendar year. The Group 2 drivers are getting set to go on the racetrack for the first time. We'll have it for you live in just a moment. From Darlington Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly.
Started going. 5's just off 2.
I was just starting to pick it up, but slowly. So roll with it, manage your gap.
Cars middle of 3 and 4 digging. All cars off pit road. No one will blend up between you guys. Get a good hole. Restart zone. Turn 1 entry now. Nothing's going to blend between you and Austin. Get a good hole. 15 now. By 10 over the 24. That's a good spot.
I'm gonna fucking wake up.
Got it, yep.
I'm gonna screw both of us there. Racing past them.
'83. P1 in our group so far, P12 overall.
Darlington practice for the Southern 500.
Like the 5s, you can tell it's dragging a little bit in 1 and 2, but the 17's just destroying the earth, but has pretty good speed. Just something about it. He's got really good long run speed. It's dragging all the way through the corner.
Absolutely.
Off at 2 right there.
Copy.
Back every year, so I love that approach. Have fun, I think, is key, but I do believe trying to take, you know, it's week by week, but you know that make a few extra sacrifices, try to commit everything you can.
And I would say, Jeff, in our meeting with him earlier this week, it's a lighter, freer Bubba Wallace than I've ever seen him in his career.
Yeah, he talked a lot about how, you know, fatherhood changed his perspective on life, and This is really important, but it's not as important as, you know, being a father and doing the right thing there. So I think it is a healthy perspective. Clearly, you have to stay hungry, and he certainly is. But being able to take those bad days and push them aside, right, and move to the next thing, that's an important part of being a race car driver, a crew chief, crew member, because you're going to have a lot of bad days. You got to get over them and move forward.
You'll notice that the playoff drivers are highlighted in yellow, left-hand side of your screen. And see, I wouldn't be alarmed if they don't jump up there and kind of pass the guys in Group A. As we mentioned, Group A probably going to be faster today because of the clean racetrack. But Group B will probably give a more real feel of the track for the race conditions tomorrow night.
Yeah, you see Bubba Wallace jumping again on his second lap all the way up to 8th quick, 29.40. Just a great look right here back at Kyle Larson putting some work in.
Well, you can see those bumps, Jeff.
No better, no worse doing that.
In 1 and 2 as Larson kind of buffets around inside the car.
It's not a smooth racetrack. As expected, Kyle Larson already on the boards, right against the fence.
I love how quiet his hands are, though, Jeff. Like, just watch this. He's going to turn in. And
1 and 2 is really good here.
Man, his hands are quiet behind the wheel of that thing.
Watch his entry. This is the exit of 2. Down the back straightaway. Watch his entry into 3. This is what he's so good at. See how close he is entering the wall, entering the corner? Wow. He doesn't leave the wall and then slide up to it. He stays against it. And that makes the car drive so much better.
You know, one thing I noticed when we were on board with Kyle Busch, you could hear the car bottoming out a little bit. You never heard that
3-4 is where we
on Kyle Larson's run. So far, we haven't heard it.
I think that's because he runs the top.
From the start.
If you run the bottom, I think the car travels more. Running the top, you just don't get the vertical load.
Interesting.
So what's interesting is most of these guys started off running the top. Are they going to do that in qualifying? You know,
Good
like
point.
so in qualifying, when you full high air pressure, more grip, are you actually better off making the racetrack a little bit shorter? It's going to be fun to see if they do change their line.
Boy, Steve, nobody comes into the playoffs with more momentum than this guy, Ryan Blaney, a career best. I believe it's 6 straight top 10 finishes. The win at Daytona. I mean, this 12 team's on a roll.
Speed fixes everything. And we look at NASCAR Insights rankings. He's second on speed, first on passing, third overall. Every driver we talked to this week, we kind of put him on the spot. Nobody wants to rank their opponents, but everybody, when we said, hey, who do you have your eye on? Who's the biggest competition? Who's it? However we worded the question, it seemed to be Blaney. Blaney kept coming up. They said he can recover. He has speed. The 12 car just has that factor that's hard to measure. He can overcome mistakes because he has fast enough cars to pass.
The negative, will knock them out of the playoffs is the DNFs, the issues, right? They've got to clean that up. Now, I will say there are a lot of the problems they haven't been their fault. There's been a lot of things that have happened to this team that were out of their control, and that can happen to anybody. But you know, it's not a 100% clear pathway to Phoenix with a chance to win a championship. You got to work your way through these playoffs, and those bad days have got to.
Inside by himself, full straight away back to the
Rival, we had the 34 get into the wall there in the first practice. So far clean here with the 12.
William Byron's been eventful, though.
Yeah, he's had a little bit of excitement right here. Running the top of 1 and 2. He's going to roll the bottom, and these guys right here just decide to run the top. And he's like, hey, man, like, what's the deal?
Wow.
That would have frustrated me.
Oh, yeah. That would be frustrating.
I mean, like,
your best 2 in a while.
I know it wasn't on purpose, but we got to do better than that. Spotter. Let's listen in to what Byron had to say.
Holy.
Unbelievable.
That was like 800 pounds of brake pressure, not to wreck everybody back there. A Herm to wake up.
Got it, yep.
Well, there you have it. They were giving all the information out there.
Talking about Mike Herman Jr., the spotter for Chris Buescher, who kind of popped up there in front of
Watch this William car. All-pro sponsor car. Second time on the car this year. Watch his exit of turn 2. See, turn 4. See how he stays against the wall? A lot of drivers will turn and get away from the wall. William Byron, he stays against the wall. And it's only 2 or 3 feet difference. But at this racetrack, that's a massive difference in how you drive the car and how you have to set the race car up. I like what William is doing because I think that's what you're going to have to do tomorrow night. You're going to have to enter high just like he did, just like we saw Larson. But his exit, watch what he does.
Right there.
He doesn't really leave the wall. He doesn't turn down and go to the bottom of the racetrack. And when you do that, the car needs to be set up a certain way. If you turn the car down the racetrack, it needs something different. You can see already what drivers and teams, what their mindset is coming into this racetrack. You can see it in practice.
Well, I've talked to Rudy Fugle about this track specifically. They were the car in the spring. Unbelievable.
That was 15.
Led over 240 laps. And it kind of got away from him on a green flag cycle. They knew that the 45er Reddick was coming early, and they were just going to let him cycle out there. But then they ran maybe 1 too many laps and didn't execute a little bit of both, and they came out behind Bell, and they just burned their tires off racing with Bell, and that's where the race kind of got away. And I so far, when I look at lap times, man, this 24 is super consistent. You heard that was Rudy Fugle complaining about the 19 on the radio. That wasn't William Byron, and I think that's his intensity. Like, the playoffs are here. We heard Bubba say, let's enjoy it. Rudy Fugle is kind of like, here we are. We won the Daytona 5. We knew we were going to be here after the first race of the year. And all of this excitement, all of this pressure to try to win a championship, now you get that championship run.
Denny Hamlin is a 5-time Darlington winner, including the race in the spring. They won the race off pit road and were able to hold on to the lead after William Byron dominated, as you mentioned, Steve, a moment ago. Hamlin on the radio chatting about the handling of his 11 car.
Keep really tight. As soon as it gets back slow to 1, get plow, turn 2 tight, 3 up into the wall, tight.
Wow, we're barely 4 minutes into practice. That's a lot of feedback, Jeff, from Denny Hamlin.
Well, it's none positive. You could hear the frustration in his voice, and drivers do that, right? There's, hey, I'm tight, and to emphasize that I'm tight here, I'm tight here, I'm tight here. And he's just giving that information. If you look at lap time, it shows up. He's off of other drivers with the same number of laps. He's not able to maintain the pace that he needs to.
And I think back to how Rudy Fugle sounded and now Denny Hamlin, I'm telling you, the garage is different. When we reset and we go into the playoffs, it is different. There is a different intensity brought. Your patience are shorter. Your patience with yourself, your patience with your team. Like Denny is here. You talked about his numbers here. They're outstanding. Well, he wants to go out there and like set the field on fire. He wants to be the car to beat. And you can hear like direct feedback. We are not good. This is what we need. He knows they can't come in, but he wants them to instantly start thinking about what changes they need, even if it is overnight.
So that's driver, that's crew chief, Steve. Does that filter down all the way to the pit crews on Sunday night? That pressure level that ramps up in the playoffs?
If it doesn't, then they're in the wrong job. Like,
I love that.
We're not in, well, this isn't intramural sports. This is professional sports. So if you don't take the drive down to Darlington knowing your championship run starts here, then maybe you should drive somewhere else.
You know, we've talked about this a lot. Steve and I talked about it. You know, there was a time we thought we were giving 100%, and we believed it. And then the playoff format started. And we learned, there was a little bit more you had to give. There was a way to go find more. And that's what big moments do, right? In any race, any singular race, right? You have to get more in a tight battle. Ricky Craven, Kurt Busch, you know, that battle here, those guys are giving more then than they were 100 laps before that. And that's what these playoffs have done. They've ratcheted up the intensity. If you can't embrace it, I agree with Steve, then it's not for you. But you have to, that's just what it is, Mama. It is big moments, high pressure, you have to execute.
Brightest lights on the biggest stage, and guys, no one knows that more than Team Penske in this 22 group. We're riding along with Joey Logano, who has won here in the 400 race in the spring, not yet in the 500. I talked to Joey earlier, and I said, Joey, what do you guys do for practice here because you're not going to get a chance to pitch. It's like you just have to go hard. We're going to do long runs. If I come down and we make an adjustment, it really doesn't give us a good gauge of what our car's going to do in the later run. We know that Darlington produces a lot of long runs. So Jeff, as the driver, you're locked in practicing, right? You're locked in just like the race. Just in practice is all the same.
Well, you have to be, Mambo, because if I'm going to tell Steve what my car needs to do better, I have to be operating on the edge. I can't go out there and give 93% and say, hey, man, this has to be better, because I don't know. Until you find the limit, you don't know it's there. So these laps in practice, you have to be committed to them. You have to push hard. Logano talked about it the other day when we met with him. He said, you come here to race, it's 500 miles of qualifying. Like, you got to give 100%. And, you know, again, that's what I love about this racetrack. Riding around here like he did in the 70s doesn't get it done. You have to push.
And if you're a fan asking, like, why can't you just come down pit road?
It's out of the rubber. Don't really worry about his pace. He is good, but he's down there with nobody else is.
You are allowed to come down pit road and make adjustments, but what Mama's talking
on exit, so he can give up some on entry if it helps him on exit of 3, 4.
Dave, how about Chase Briscoe?
Marty, I walked down pit lane with the defending winner of this race this morning and asked him what it felt like to walk in here this year. Well, last year was huge. He said it was amazing what happened. That 3-wide pass, yep, I asked him if he remembers that. Oh, yeah, he said, I remember that one a lot. And he keeps a text chain with the 14 crew from this race and that year. I know a lot of you guys do that. If you've run with a band of brothers, a band of sisters, a family from years past, you stick together by text now. These guys texted and said, you know, last year was great, but a year removed, we look at it now, and it's even bigger than we thought. It's a huge memory. It was a huge win to get in the playoffs last year, and this year for Chase Briscoe, with a different team, he could kick off the playoffs with success.
Boy, that win last year seemed so improbable for Chase Briscoe, and maybe not so improbable this year, though. I think, Steve, this 19 team is just now starting to find their groove. And what did he tell us the other day? We still haven't reached our potential as a race team.
They haven't, but I think James Small, you see in the upper left right there, crew chief for Chase Briscoe. I think this playoffs for this organization and this team, it's really a kind of about the future. I'm not saying they couldn't win the championship this year, but when he won his first race for Gibbs, he said it just felt different because we're expected. And I think running in the playoffs for SHR versus running in the playoffs for Gibbs is going to feel very different. And I think they're going to have to understand what that's like when you come down here and everyone thinks you're a favorite or you, quote, should advance. The pressure of shoulds can change how you approach things. And I think both James Small and Briscoe are up to the task.
Out of a 3 and 4.
But, you know what I mean, Jeff? I just think the driver has to understand what it's like to be different when you're announced as a favorite.
Well, they hadn't gotten off to a good start.
No.
Because their speed right now is off. They are not where they need to be. They're a solid 2.5, 3/10 off of the speed that it's going to take to be competitive. So this is what the playoffs are about. There's challenges all along the way. You have to navigate your way through them. Their first challenge of these playoffs is they've got to find some pace.
And this is crazy to say, Marty, but I think sometimes the hardest thing is when you put a driver in a car at a track where both were successful. And what I mean is this team with Truex used to fly here.
Sure.
And I think this is one of Briscoe's best racetracks. But they may have accomplished it very differently. So now Briscoe comes driving what he thinks it should drive like.
Our 1 and 2 is closer. The 12 gets us a little bit on exit. And then 3 and 4 is just more on exit. We're running the same line as the 12. Obviously, he's getting better exits than us.
And 2. All good.
In the race, so you said it. I think Briscoe's good at this racetrack too, obviously, but so far they've got to be better as a team.
How about the outlook for Tyler Reddick coming into the playoffs, Steve? I mean, we interviewed him after the race. He was almost sounded depressed, you know. But to his point, the expectation for us at 23-11, and especially on the 45 team, is not just to make the playoffs, it's to make a deep run in the playoffs. And I don't know how this team sets up. What's your opinion on how they set up coming into these 10 races?
I think Darlington is this is the most important track for the 45 car. I think he looks shell-shocked at Daytona. He can't believe he's there a year after winning the regular season championship as a car that got in only on points. We're coming to the racetrack that he told us this week, between here and Miami, probably his best racetrack or one of his best racetracks. If he comes here and they're just still average and they don't contend for the win, I don't think they have to win, but they have to contend for it. I mean, up there top 3 or 4, dicing it up, making something happen. If not, if he goes and runs just 10th all day, I don't know if that's, like, that could be the wind out of the sails for the 45. Now the flip, if he runs the fence all night and he wins this race, I think everything in the first 26 weeks just goes away, and he instantly just is 10 feet tall going into the second round.
All there. 3 stand bottom. Get straight back to it now. 34 completed the line.
So we talked positives, we talked negatives, a lot of conversation about SVG. How far can he get in these playoffs? I said I think he can advance. They got to do everything right. I thought he would have a little more pace here than he has. Currently 32nd on the board, but more concerning is where he is on older tires. We've seen a lot of people passing. SVG is not up to speed in this practice the way he needs to be. Now, I will say that one thing he and this team do is they get better during the races, but as they sit right now, they're about 3 tenths to maybe 4 tenths of a second off of where they need to be, and in this field, you can't be off that far. You're going to run in the back if you're off that far, so they have some improvement to do. Another playoff team that just got in by the skin of their teeth last week, the 48 of Bowman, they are not good. Their practice speed is off. They're having struggle, Dave. What do you know?
Just that they had a good exit at both ends of the track, but that's not the whole corner, right? He needed to work higher into turn 1. They wanted him to work on that, but even that wasn't getting the results that you're talking about, Jeff, that showed up on the stopwatch, on the timing chart. So back in here to make some adjustments and try to make the 48 better. Remember, they got in on points as well, and by a relief, a former winner winning last week was the only way that they made it in on points.
Well, if you're a Bowman fan and you're looking for a highlight, I would say it's where the car sits right now, and that's pit road. They're ranked 4th of 16 playoff teams at a racetrack where we should see 9 or 10 4-tire pit stops. So if they can get the car a little better and you can kind of hang out and stay close, you might be able to kind of manipulate your way or manufacture a better finish than what your car feels like on the racetrack.
Tell you what, Steve, the other team that has me a little worried, if I'm a fan of that race team, Chase Elliott. And it's interesting because he came into our meeting the other day, Steve, and said, the #1 track I'm worried about in the playoffs, everybody's saying Talladega, for me it's Darlington. That surprised me a little bit.
I was a little taken back by that, but he just, he just didn't sound like a guy that had a lot of answers. We asked him some questions. He said, I don't know more than a few drivers about this race car. He's missing something. He obviously has a ton of talent. That's where that consistency, him and Alan Gustafson, I think, have found a way to advance and make it through these seasons and make it through these playoffs with the only thing they know how to do, which is limit mistakes. It's crazy, but when you look at their rankings, they're top 5 everywhere except for speed and restarts. I would say those are the 2 most important things, is be able to go fast early and go fast the whole run. They're kind of mid-pack when you look at playoff cars for that. That doesn't mean to count them out. I actually think the first round lines up for them because their style is to run all day and finish the races, and if they do that in the first 3 races, I think they advance out of this round.
The speeds he's running right now are very competitive. Just went a 37th lap, a 31.65. That's as good as anybody.
So maybe not the fire-off speed, but the long-run speed you're saying for Chase Elliott?
Potentially. Sometimes we don't really know why they didn't have good fire-off speed. Sometimes it's traffic, right? Yeah. So we weren't able to really pay attention. But, and we could do a full in-depth analysis about the speed of this entire run. But late in the run, I think his pace is fine.
This race, in my mind, suits kind of Chase's mentality. Like,
sure,
this thing is statistically the longest race by time.
Yep.
Right, 500 miles. I know we have a 600-mile race, but I was told once by a driver that 500 miles at Darlington is like running 1,000 in Charlotte.
At your lights.
How about Christopher Bell? I found his comment interesting, Jeff, and he shared it with everybody in media. The playoffs line up perfect for me this year. The tracks are perfect for me this year. I have to take advantage, but does that add pressure to the 20 team when you look at next year and go, those tracks don't work for me? I need to do it this year.
I think that this team believes they're champions. I think this team believes they should have a chance to win the championship. They just got to go do their job, right? So I think that's positive pressure. Pressure is when you don't know if you'll have a job next year or not. I think that for this team, this is exactly where they want to be. This is where they expect to be. They expect to be a contender. Now, at the same token, they don't have the pace that we expect from this team. What this team has done a better job of is executing, Steve. But, you know, he said it to us. You know, we got to find a little bit of speed. We're not as fast as we've been in the past, but we're a better race team. We can execute better. So play to your strengths, right? Execute, get finishes that you don't always, you know, finish better than you ran. But for this team to win the championship, they're going to have to find a little bit of speed.
I think his point about how the racetracks line up this year is they feel like a track in every round where they should be very good. St. Louis next week at Gateway, they think they'll be very strong. New Hampshire, arguably Bell's best track in the next round. So you look at how it really lays out for Bell and then Phoenix to close it out, Steve. If they can get there, they feel like they'll be up there with Team Penske among the favorites.
Well, he's won the last 2 spring Phoenix races. He's just looking for that fall race.
Yeah.
They give away the big trophy.
Yeah.
It's like winning the 400 at Daytona.
Yeah.
How's that feel, Jeff?
Well, I know. Hey, Dale Jarrett's up here with us. He knows how to win the 500 feels. I don't know what that feels like. Did you win the 400?
Did you ever win the 400, DJ?
At Daytona?
He won it once, I think.
He won that too.
He won that too.
He knows how to win both.
I'm going to take my toys and go home.
That was the most Hall of Famer look ever. Did you win the 400? Yeah, I did.
He looked at us like, what do you think?
I did that too.
I laugh. I look out the window right now, and the track is fun. Now, I know all 16 playoff drivers are in here, but they're all still out there just grinding. They're all making laps.
But I think that's what you want,
the
Steve,
final
right?
gun. Absolutely.
I mean, you want your driver to run this out. If you're Adam Stevens, you're like, keep running. You're happy, keep running. Let's see what it feels like over a long run.
Well, we talked about that pit road entry. Hocevar took a very conservative approach because he kind of was at the red flags in the practice. These guys, I think, would do it a little bit earlier so you can miss the entry. There you go. This time, lots of room. Let's see what Bell does right here. He's going to run the bottom. At some point, he's going to have to get on to. Oh, he's hard on the brake.
Oh, he missed
the bank in. Oh, I think he makes it. I think he makes it.
At your speed.
Oh, wow.
Blaney missed it.
Close, but Blaney behind him did miss it.
Yes.
Yeah, if he was using Bell as a reference, Bell had no more inches to give.
There you go. Here's a great shot. Bell barely makes it, and Blaney behind him, he couldn't.
Wow.
Now, I can't say with confidence that Bell made it at the right speed, but he was below the orange box, which is the requirement.
That was 43 laps for Bell coming to pit road. Here's Kyle Larson trying to make it happen.
And that's that scary time when it starts to push back up onto the banking.
Wow.
They will.
So the rule is you cannot touch the orange box, the 5-car well below it. If you touch the orange box, you can go back on the track without penalty. It's just a time loss.
That's why I physically applauded when Hocevar said I was too conservative.
Yes.
Because that's okay. I mean, it's okay at this racetrack to give up a little bit on pit entry. And the penalty isn't worth it. I mean, it is a massive penalty in regard to time to miss pit road. And it can ruin your night. So you have to be smart on where you push and where you don't.
Tell you what, your point very well taken with Chase Elliott. Those lap times at the end of the run, pretty impressive after 46 laps, still under the 32-second mark. Here comes pit road, Steve.
Yeah, so he'll stay on the banking a little bit longer. I use that kind of dotted line. This is a pretty conservative approach right here for the 9.
Not pushing it too much. Fastest here in Group B.
adjustment. Clayton, you still up there? Yes,
Things looked bad for Denny there early on, but of course, as we know, the long run speed is what's going to be key here, and he really liked the way that Toyota handled at the end of that session.
You know, it is practice, and it is still Darlington Raceway, and there's still things you can learn, but you just have to wonder, Mike, given the fact that we're practicing on a Saturday morning, the green flag will fly in the Cookout Southern 500 tomorrow evening going into darkness, just how much of today's practice will translate? That's the big question mark.
Trying to get that car evened out for that long haul and hope that you've gone in the right direction, because if you've gone in the wrong direction, that could be a long 367 miles tomorrow night. Let's check in with Brad Keselowski.
Brad's down here just kind of hanging out with the crew, getting ready to go qualify. Brad, what'd you learn about your race car in that 25-minute practice session?
I thought it drove pretty good. A good spot to go race tomorrow. Been pretty competitive here the last half a dozen races, and winning here last spring, and I think we'll have a shot to win here tomorrow.
You're getting ready to go out and qualify. The last lap was on old worn-out tires. What's the difference between you just finished on old worn-out tires and now you bolted on new Goodyears and go out and have to bust a lap? What is that like as a race car driver?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different commitment level because, Postman, if you overcommit, you hit the wall. There's no forgiveness, but the car's going to have a lot more grip. You have to go out there and get it, and you don't want to leave any on the table.
Well, we shall see what happens. Brad Keselowski, an awful good racetrack for him here. We'll see if he can get himself a good starting spot for tomorrow night's Southern 500.
Not just a starting spot, but where you qualify also is where the order in which you pick your pit box is what I'm trying to say. And that is important here at Darlington, too. There are some big openings on the pit lane with the walls and so forth. And there's a victory lane over in the middle of turn number 4 coming onto the front stretch on the pit lane. There's a big gap there. There's a pedestrian tunnel right at the end of the straightaway before the pits go down into turn number 1. That means there's a big opening there, entrance and exit, too. There's some very favorable and desirable pit boxes here, but how you select your pit box based off of how you qualify.
Right now the cars are being rolled to the grid with the drivers walking alongside, and Alex, today and even tomorrow is expected to be a much different Darlington fall experience than we normally have seen. Normally when we come to Darlington on Labor Day weekend, temperatures are in the 90s, heat indices 100 plus, very muggy, very humid, just hot. That is not the case this weekend.
Like most of the southeastern part of the United States, it is absolutely beautiful here in Darlington, South Carolina. Today and tomorrow, the forecast is supposed to be in the low 80s, maybe 83 high. Very little humidity out there. Just a beautiful weekend here in Darlington, South Carolina, which I think is going to be much welcome for all the race fans when they come out here to pack this racetrack.
Let's check in on the driver. That is the number 14 of 16 seed in the playoffs, 1 point below the cut line. Tyler Reddick is that driver.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick climbed out of his race car, and our producer, Trey Downey, said, check on Reddick. He's sick or something's going on. Well, something's going on, all right. He has got a cramp in the back of his left leg, and so what they've done is they've bought one of those vibrating massagers out, and he is actually, while he's debriefing, and they've got to debrief with Billy Scott, he is actually running that massager over the back of his left leg, so all the way down to his knee. So cramping issues, not really sure I've seen that before, but Tyler Reddick, other than that, happy with the race car, and it must be both legs, because now he has shifted and now is massaging the rear of his right leg. So cramping issues, the story on Tyler Reddick here, as he gets ready to go out for a qualifying run.
Get the man some pickle juice.
Something.
Stat.
Give him a bag of IV or give him a Tylenol or something. But there's nothing worse than perhaps maybe being in a race car when you've got that cramping and get that old Charlie horse right there in that thigh or that calf, and you're stuck in there. There's only so much you can do. Trying to work that out and getting him all squared away, that's going to be key. That's the last thing you want to experience here at Darlington.
It absolutely is. Let's check back in the pit lane for Chris Wilner.
Michael McDowell was the fastest single lap speed. You were in Group 1, though, so what translates from Group 1 to qualifying here? You had to wait a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. It's fun to go out on a cold track, green track here at Darlington. A lot of grip, a lot of speed, but it's not a great read, for what you're going to have, unfortunately. So, but nothing you can do about it. You're in Group A. It's the way it works. So obviously track took a lot of rubber, slowed down. Track will start to pick up some of that rubber here, and, the later you go, the better it'll be. So it's going to flip-flop a little bit on us, but I feel really good about our Delaware Life Chevrolet from what we had on the long run there. And, hopefully, going out 15th here is far enough into the session that we can still get a fairly competitive lap and, hopefully get a top 10 starting spot and get some good pit selection. It's going to be really important with a 500-mile race. Getting in and off pit road is really important here.
What is a qualifying lap like when you just put it all out on the line for one lap and you're inches from the wall?
Scary. Yeah, this is a fun place. It really is. Like for that effect of that one lap, getting it all, you're right at it. And we see too a lot of times it's easy to make a mistake and get up in the fence in turn 1 and in turn 3 even. So yeah, it's breathtaking. It's fun. It's exhilarating. I mean, it's what we all love to do, right? It's just it's something cool that we get to go do that not everybody gets to experience what kind of rush that's like. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Appreciate it. Michael McDowell getting ready to qualify. He'll go 15th out in group number 1, and he mentioned the thrill of running a lap at Darlington. I can't imagine when he went out on the racetrack at 9 a.m. local. If you weren't awake, I'm sure you are after barreling it off into turn 1 at 170 miles an hour. And so it was fun to watch early this morning. We'll see what Michael can do here in qualifying.
He was the fastest in single car speed earlier this morning. From Darlington Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
You've never been one to idly watch someone else do something for you. There's pride in self-reliance, in working with your hands, in harnessing the power of an E3 spark plug with Diamond Fire technology yielding better engine performance. You have a choice to make. Take control of your ride, of your life, or be the passenger princess of it. Visit E3 Spark.
They're 2% out. We're 1.5. All right, 10-4. When we were too tight, too free, where were we compared to that? We matched them when we were too free, and then when we didn't do, we did 1% less than them, we were too tight. So this is splitting the difference. Perfect.
Maybe just a little bit lower than the 35 off of 4 there.
Not working well. You'll just have to let him know when he gets in what you're saying.
Copy that.
Right against 4.
Clear. Let him know how fast they're going so he knows.
So, work on it a little bit for tomorrow, knowing where we're going to have to start. We'll go to work tomorrow, man. We can overcome this. Yes, sir. Felt pretty good, but thank you. Stenhouse just running 29.66.
Down the back here.
It's one thing with these young drivers, who's the leader, right?
Yeah.
Who, you know, when McDowell was at this team, he was clearly the leader. Right? So now, how do all those young drivers work together to provide the guidance that the team needs about, hey, what do we need to be better? What do we need to be working on? But you know, this team's constantly improving, put a lot of effort into their race team.
10-4. I figured a flat.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., I know that wreck at Daytona was early, Steve, but that 47 was coming quick towards the front of the field.
You knew he was going to try to take advantage of that race. Such a great driver when it comes to the drafting tracks. He has like just such a knack for it. All right, I'm really, I don't know the scheme. It's a new one for me. This is a new look.
We'll have to dig into what that is.
Yep. Yeah, shame on me for not doing the research on the sponsor of this one, because it's memorable.
He split the top seam, getting to the Goodyear logo at about the 3/8 mark of 3 and 4.
You know, Jeff, we talked about getting your Darlington stripe. Stenhouse got his on the way to the green.
Yeah, coming to the green, just trying to get up to speed as quickly as he could. Just a little bit of contact.
4 isn't the ticket.
Certainly didn't help the lap. Stenhouse third quickest of 3.
Yeah, it's hard to get yourself motivated. Afraid you're going to have a bigger wreck in your actual lap.
The fast guys definitely don't
Derek
do that.
Kraus on the track, Dave.
Right now, I can see that working.
Ross Chastain watching qualifying with me. He's not going to do that, he just told me. So in practice, though, how good was the one car?
I don't think you can get there early.
Looks like Chevy was really good to start, Dave. I've asked Phil Sturgeon in my group, just keep the same balance for qualifying that we just had in practice. And then on the long run, I'll be honest, though, we fell off pretty hard. So I thought some guys had like pitted and were in the pits for a while and had colder tires, but they did a lot better job keeping their Goodyears in a lot better spot. So I fell off pretty hard, got really loose at the end of practice. So nothing too crazy, but focus right now is fast lap. Yeah, no wall and quick lap time.
And one lap goes by fast, Marty.
Yes, it does, Dave. Timmy Hill trying to make will make his first Cup start of the year in 2025. So, yeah, I felt like Ross Chastain had a lot of front run speed, Steve, but then said it fell off really hard. So they're trying to make Saturdays better over at Trackhouse Racing, but maybe not what you want at Darlington.
Well, it's just, you know, we talked about the comfort. That's where we started this conversation. And, you know, Ross is going to continue to push if he feels like his car doesn't have the pace and you're asking your driver or putting him in just a really tough situation, an easy spot to make a mistake. I like the honesty of the interview, though. He just told us how it was going to be, told us where they need to be better.
We can free it up during the race.
There you go. Here's Mr. Excitement.
Remember, he qualified second.
Commitment level is high.
Southern 500 last year.
Man, that's a great 1 and 2. I don't think there's a huge advantage in 1 and 2. I think it's all down here when I look at qualifying. This is the area you can make or break a qualifying lap. And he's going to make it by a lot.
Real clean through 3 and 4 for Hocevar.
Now, I don't want to say 1 and 2 doesn't exist. What I'm saying is that it's just a little less technical, and I think with a grip on your tires, it's the easier end of the racetrack. How about that? 3 and 4, the tighter end, I think, is way harder to make speed.
Just the left front headlight.
Zane Smith taking the green, Mamba.
Yes, he is. Zane Smith goes by. I got Austin Cindric, our Talladega winner. We were just chatting about, Austin says it's a great day. We're driving race cars. How about it? How's your long run speed in this 2 Penske Ford?
Yeah, I think long run speed's really strong. Obviously, kind of got to switch your brain over for qualifying here. Big commitment and, you know, a lot faster than what I was just going. So, I know our disc tire Ford, I think, has a lot of strengths here, so that put us in a good spot and a good pit stall.
Austin Cindric looking forward to tomorrow, guys.
He's already thinking about it. Good pit stall. Think about that. They just know so many pit stops.
Up to the entry to 3.
What the lap for Zane Smith, Jeff?
Lost all his time.
Such a good lap.
Up to the wall. He only
What's difficult about it, you heard the conversation that he was having with Mama about, I got to be fully committed to 1 lap. I got to lay a lap time down, and it's different than what you just did on 35 lap tires. Completely different way to drive the race car.
Yep, I heard you.
On board with Kyle Busch.
A decent lap going right here.
I'll tell you what, finished second
He was able to get a lot better exit.
Here last year, ran well in the spring too.
In the right direction.
Is it enough? In the green at the line. Fastest for Kyle Busch.
Nice work there. That's top of the board, 29-23. We'll see where it ends up. I thought it looked like it stuck
Ran a little higher in 3 and 4.
I think
Some
there was
others
probably a
have.
little bit more to be had there. I think he just didn't expect
Ty Dillon
to trust it that much. If anything, I thought it looked like
taking the green. About a couple laps at Daytona last week.
Up to the wall 1 and 2, but I didn't think 3 and 4 looked awful.
Pretty decent 1 and 2. Let's see what he does here. Enters a little bit lower than what we've seen some others do.
You can gain that time on entry, Jeff, but it costs you on exit.
Yeah, I like, you know, if you're not going to run the bottom, may as well run the top. May as well just put it on the boards on entry as well.
I would be slow around the bottom, Marty, both ends. Very slow around the, as far from the wall as I can comfortably be.
Back up to the wall.
Cody Ware takes the green. I got to give him props last week, Jeff. He's up front, leading the race, and there was
contact, hit the wall.
Marty got him.
Really hard, middle of 1 and 2.
Yes, he did. Right, hit the right. Look like he hit the right rear first.
You are right, though. Not to let this distract from what you were going to say. Really nice job at Daytona. Up there, dicing it up.
Gosh, you did put the Marty jinx on.
Oh, he did,
That's
for
a
sure.
new thing. He got Marty.
Entry to turn 1, Marty got him.
My goodness, Cody. Terrific job last week, qualifying not going the way he wants today.
Inch speed into turn 1 is so important. You have to carry it, but it's too much. This is what happens. That's big impact, Marty.
Plenty more qualifying coming up on True TV.
What we looked at, probably one of the in-between teams. Carson was a little higher. He was split top seam, and that's where he gave up. Down in 3 and 4, I feel like. 1 and 2 is just normal, less on the white.
Somebody like that who's partnered with NASCAR, that even as the sport has grown and grown and grown, they still have an opportunity to come back and take part. Good-looking car. And you know, we talked a lot about RFK in practice expanding to 3 cars. I know it was an expansion, but I think Colleague might get the biggest turnaround from year 1 or from last year to this year for me. I know it's not playoff bound. We're going to talk a lot about playoff cars. but a marked improvement in performance for both Ty Dillon and the 16.
Look at this turn 1. Exit of turn 2, really good pace.
Wow. That's right, AJ. Make me sound like I know what I'm talking about right here. A really good lap.
Oh, entered a little bit low. See if that hurts its exit.
Man, it did, Jeff.
Oh, no, here it comes.
Not done.
1 pound in the right rear tire.
Nice lap for the dinger to the top over Kyle Busch.
43 years old. You know, that for the field, that's one of the older drivers. Just still getting it done at 43.
By 1/1000th of a second. How about that? AJ Allmendinger to the top. John Hunter Nemechek takes the green, Dave.
Southern 500 pole sitter last year, Bubba Wallace. Is the potential there today for the 23?
Today's potential, I feel like we're right on top of things. So I appreciate everybody from Airspeed on this 23 team for showing up with some speed to start the playoffs. We got our gloves and sticks in the game. Now we just need to hit base hits and go out and not do anything special. Not get complacent, though. But it's good to be here. It's good to be in the position that we're in. Just go out and have some fun.
No playoff driver was faster in single lap times in practice, guys.
Boy, John Hunter Nemechek was in the green coming into turn 3. Then what happened, Jeff?
Yeah, he ran a completely different line than everyone else. He entered low, kind of ran, just trying to run around the racetrack, the shorter end of the, just make a shorter route. Just didn't work out. Now look, he may have run that route for a reason, right? His car wasn't as good all the time. So shouldn't just say, hey, messed up by running the shorter line, because everybody has to do what they feel is in their car's best interest.
K did not have the 1-2 he was looking for. I'm not sure the reason, but it was a 1/10 slower than AJ. And didn't really lose any back down here in 3. It was all 1 and 2, which I thought we wouldn't see a big variance down there, but I was wrong.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski 7th. Mamba Smith hanging out with the man who knows how to win poles, Chase Briscoe.
He knows how to win poles. He is our reigning Southern 500 champion. Chase, you've had a lot of poles this year, and we were just talking about it. A lot of those times you haven't felt like you had a great car in practice. How's this car?
Not great in practice. Yeah, I don't know. We, you know, on the simulator, we thought our package was really, really good, and we got here and we were just really, really tight. So, yeah, I don't know what to think. You know, I'm positive James and the boys will get it good. I mean, they always typically do, but yeah, I think we're all kind of scratching our head at just kind of the balance we unloaded with versus what we thought we had. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be an uphill battle here in qualifying. Just, you know, going out, you know, we go out 10 from the end, which is a challenge here in itself, just the track changing. So, yeah, I don't know. We're giving it our best shot and see if it's enough. I know I have a fast Bass Pro Shops Toyota. It's just a matter of, you know, putting it all together. This place is really hard to qualify at, so hopefully I can do it.
Steve, you always tell us if you have raw speed, you have raw speed.
Yeah, speed fixes everything. That's right, Mamba. I mean, we talk about execution and all that's required as Michael McDowell almost peels the decal off. Didn't hit it, but he was close. Speed is the answer. Great 1 and 2, though, only 300s behind. And look at .234, 235, 245. I mean, 200s. Basically knocks you out of the top 5. So close.
Really close.
Yeah, Todd Gillen was only 3 100s behind, and he's down there in 5th, and here goes Michael McDowell up to 4th.
McDowell and Hocevar can go into the team meeting this week, and they drove exactly the same in quite
Exactly right, the same exact times for those Spire teammates. As the 60 of Ryan Priest takes the green flag. Boy, what an onboard shot that is.
Love this shot.
I'm as interested in the bottom right. He drives, I mean, he is on the wheel. Look at him, leans his head forward like he's ready to fight somebody when he grabs that wheel.
Remember how you said Kyle Larson was so smooth on the wheel? Look at Ryan Priest fighting it. And almost to the pole it looked like, but that shows you how tight the field is. Look at that. He's
good news.
You're 2 100s behind.
You're good news. 2 100s off the pole. Bad news. That's 6th.
Crazy that it's that close.
Have you ever seen it this close, Jeff?
7 cars. Think about this. 7 cars. 29.23 to a 29.26. I mean, that is just unheard of.
So the question is, what's the pole going to be?
That's a great question. We forgot to put our money down on that, Steve. We should do that right now, or is it too late?
Well, in the spring, it was a 28.77, which is a half a second faster than what we're currently running. I don't know if that exists out here today. How about this?
Cole Custer to the top. And he takes away that 23 bracket that we were talking about.
Another driver, though, last week that put himself and his organization at least in the conversation in those closing laps. Remember, the big block that Haley had to make was to block the 41 of Custer making his run to the front.
And I would argue Brian Blaney doesn't win that race without Cole Custer.
A massive 1 and 2 by Ty Gibbs. He was lower, car was pointed. In the rev chip, getting into 3.
Well, that 28-something maybe is out there. What a corner, what a lap.
I mean, 1 and 2 was impressive. That car was pointed the entire way through the corner. It allowed him to run lower, allowed him to be in the gas sooner on the exit of 2. That was a huge 1 and 2.
Boy, a 29-12 for Ty Gibbs sets the new mark for everyone to go shoot for. Justin Haley was quick in Group 1. Let's see what he can do here in qualifying.
This is impressive because you just talked about how good Gibbs 1 and 2 was, and Haley's able to basically match it.
Can he gain through 3 and 4?
Oh, can he stay in the gas? Oh, he got a little tight right in the middle.
Man, but in the green. And Haley knocks off Gibbs.
Remember that McDowell Hocevar conversation? Now in the meeting, they need to ask Haley how he qualified. Because he's got to buy a couple tenths.
Yes,
let's do it like him.
Back with more qualifying for the Southern 500 and True TV.
Sure you stay in it.
We shall see. He's finished third the last 2 times here. That is in the spring. And last year's Southern 500, that is Christopher Bell.
He'll be going out to qualify 5th from last. Long way to go before we get to him. Justin Haley, currently the fastest here in pole qualifying. From Darlington Raceway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
God damn it, he just doesn't turn.
We've seen the lap times kind of fall here in the last few minutes, Steve. Is that the track getting better or the cars getting better as we get deeper into the session?
A little bit of yes, maybe. I really don't know. We have seen tracks when they run one car at a time kind of pick the rubber up and it gets cleaner. It picks up speed. Maybe there's some of that. You see Reddick right here going to run his lap.
Looking in full health, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the limp is gone. All right, if you want a dark horse pick, it's not a very long shot for me because he's won here a couple times.
Yes.
But I just think that some of the handicapping locations, if you choose to partake in that. Eric Jones, I'm telling you, Legacy's improved all year. They brought unbelievable speed to Indy. Like, there's been steps. why not? Why not Eric Jones? And I don't know if it's going to happen here in qualifying, but this track for him, it suits him, his style. I think Legacy keeps getting bigger. So much focus on the playoffs. It would be a huge storyline if he could upset everyone.
And I thought, Jeff, he was going to win Daytona twice in the final few laps. He was leading, then got shuffled out and came back up and finished 5th.
That recovery that he had was amazing. He moved all the way back to the mid-pack of that pack and then drive back up. It was pretty amazing. I know he was disappointed that he didn't win, but this team, it is heading in the right direction. There is no doubt about that. About halfway through this year, they really started heading in the right direction, and I think that continues into next year.
Chris Buescher, always a threat when it comes to Darlington. Finished 3rd here last spring. Nearly won the race. That infamous argument with Tyler Reddick after the race.
You know, Chris, but this is crazy to say, but he is probably one of the most well-rounded drivers. Like, name a track where he can't win.
You can't find it. I mean,
know, like
he's quick everywhere, and that's the point they make. We've got speed everywhere we go. Got speed here in qualifying too.
I just wasn't able to roll the middle and exit of 3 and 4 as well as he wanted to. Good lap. Just lost it center and off of 3 and 4.
Daniel Suarez, 2nd at Daytona last week.
Still no news out of the Suarez camp for 2026, or none that I'm aware of. You know, he won't be back in this car. It's a tough kind of landscape when I look across really all 3 of the Premier Series, like Truck, Xfinity, and Cup. There's just not as much movement as we have seen in other years.
All right, loved what he did on corner entry. Let's see if it helps the exit. So many drivers have entered low into turn 3. He did the opposite. He entered on the high side. It did not gain him on corner exit, but I like that. I think that's the way forward.
Maybe 1 or 2%. He was right at 0, but
First of the playoff drivers, Austin Cindric takes the track.
Time to set the mark.
Got this.
He talked to Mama about the long run speed in the 2 car. Let's see what's got here in qualifying.
Oh, he never even went to the wall. He was able to stay down the racetrack and still get it to turn. Let's see what he does over here. There you go, not up against the wall, a little bit of turn down, never went all the way to the wall. His car turned great.
Wow, never out of the green for Austin Cindric. And he goes to the top.
Yeah, not very good.
Welcome to the playoffs, everyone.
He used less racetrack than almost everybody.
28.90?
Okay.
28.90.
Somebody runs the record.
Somebody runs a 90.
This is a really important lap, I believe. I mean, you hate to put too much on one race, but where this team is in the playoff standings, the practice that they had, which wasn't very good, this is a big lap.
And he told us honestly, Jeff, he said the first 2 tracks in the playoffs are what worry me. Darlington and St. Louis showing up on the stopwatch here.
Now the key for this 48 is going to be not panicking when the green flag falls, not having a poor qualifying effort compound into another mistake. Like, this one's behind you. You got to continue to kind of put another foot forward.
That is 15th out of 19 cars. Yeah. Actually, check that, 24 cars that have now run. Not good for Alex Bowman.
Here we go. Bubba Wallace said he felt decent about it today.
You're right, Steve. These things look like they're going 200 miles an hour.
It's unreal.
Fast.
Oh, there you go. He gave up the entry. Welcome to the 28s.
Bubba Wallace with a 28.98. Fastest so far. Impressive run for him. I have a feeling it's not going to stick for back-to-back Southern 500 poles, though.
No, I don't think so either. Joey Logano almost eased it into turn 3. I don't know if he was just trying not to overdrive or save tire, but...
Logano, the only playoff driver or the only driver to have won at all the tracks in the first round of the playoffs.
Not a great 1 and 2.
He committed to the top. I just don't think there's this much available.
Good recovery, though. You know, you think about it, he actually gained speed in 3 and 4. He lost every bit of it in 1 and 2. So I'd say, in not a perfect lap, a good recovery. Mamba.
I got Texas native Chris Buescher down here. Chris, you always have a good car here. It seems like this place really fits your style. Driving right now 5th on the board. How do you feel about your race car?
Pretty good. I was pretty happy there in practice where long run pace went to and balance. I was really happy with that Q app until the last 2 or 3 here, so I don't know where this thing's going to go, but hoping the sun stays blazing and get a little track temp in it, but you know, I'm pretty proud of the car. Honestly, we'll have to look forward to the last 10 races. Not where we wanted to be, but a chance to go win some of these things. So that's a good start for us.
Everybody at RFK, guys, I think they want to be spoilers this year for the playoffs.
I think that's good motivation. Be the spoiler, as you said, but I'll tell you that Austin Dillon turned 1 and 2. He had about 6 100ths down the backstretch, which tells me that there's more pace out here if you can kind of get both ends connected. Reddick wants to prove it.
Wants to knock his teammate off the pole. Green through 1 and 2, but kind of lost it on the exit of 2 there, Jeff.
Yeah, gained it back, though.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Can he stand the throttle? He can.
Wow. Man, that exit of 4 is so close to the wall. Reddick to the top. With a 84. I would say so.
Absolutely.
It's such a good feeling when you know you laid a lap down. They don't have to tell you. You know, he knows that he got everything there was. Now he's going to get out and say, I'll miss a little bit here, miss a little bit there, but you know when it was a good one.
Chase Briscoe told Mamba, yeah, not very happy with the car in practice, but it looks pretty good here.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Can he do it in 3 and 4?
Good night.
Gaining more time.
Now Reddick wish we had to play the video of him celebrating.
Chase Briscoe, what an impressive lap. After saying the car was not very good in practice, he is quickest.
When I said 2880, I meant 5th.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Black Buffalo products are intended for adults age 21 and older who are consumers of nicotine or tobacco.
Hey, it's Ryan Blaney, 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. If you know me, I did Black Buffalo Long Cut. Black Buffalo is America's only credible spokeless tobacco alternative. Black Buffalo was established in America in 2015, and it dips just like the real thing, without the tobacco leaf or stem. You can find Black Buffalo at thousands of retailers across the USA near you. Black Buffalo Tobacco Alternative. If it's everything you love about dip, nothing you don't.
Every time the siren sounds or lights flash, someone's life is on the line. At Whelen Engineering, we know first responders carry that weight every day. That's why for over 70 years, we've led the emergency warning industry, designing and manufacturing the lights, sirens, and safety systems they trust right here in America. Because when the mission is critical, there's no room for second best. Whelen Engineering, trusted to protect first responders.
Back at Darlington Raceway, getting ready to put a bow on qualifying for the Cookout Southern 500. Chase Briscoe has just gone to the top of the leaderboard. We'll check in with Chase in a moment. First, let's talk with the driver that is now second in the proceedings, Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and Mikey just offered some words with Chase Briscoe, so knocked off the pole. But first, I got to ask you, how's the leg? I know you were getting that massaged out and fell asleep a little bit. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's getting better. You know, sometimes it's something I fight in the car. Don't know why. But, yeah, just try and manage it. Shouldn't be a problem tomorrow.
Qualifying speed so far so good, at least for the front row. What is the optimism going into tomorrow in a grueling 500 miles?
Yeah, Darlington has been a place for me over the years that, you know, we qualify good. I'm hoping this holds on for somewhere in the top 5. But yeah, it's just a place where we typically run really good all day long, and qualifying is always important. So, yeah, for me, this is a place I always love coming to, and I'm really glad it's back in the playoffs.
All right, that's Tyler Reddick, and good to see that leg is A-OK. Got it massaged before qualifying and currently sits second on the speed charts.
As he will sit and patiently wait this out, as he's currently second behind Chase Briscoe. Briscoe drives for Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin is now getting ready to take the green flag. He, too, comes out of the JGR stables.
Looking for his 6th win at Darlington Raceway overall. He, no doubt, is a Darlington OG as it were. He is on the green flag right now, and currently 3 Toyotas pace qualifying. Briscoe, Reddick, and Bubba Wallace. The highest Chevrolet is Austin Dillon in 4th. The highest Ford belongs to Austin Cindric and Team Penske, who now sits 5th on the leaderboard.
That's my personality. They still have work to do in race pace. He said it, right? They weren't good enough. But qualifying does not necessarily mean you have a great racing car.
So, back teammate Denny Hamlin, right back to the gas, Steve.
I'm telling you, like watching these guys around here is like an artist, man. What they do in 1 and 2 is just so much fun to ride on board with. This end of the racetrack, it's slippery and not as much. I don't want to drive 3 and 4. I just want to drive 1 and 2.
See that entry? Look at this.
Look at that.
Boom.
Denny
that
Hamlin.
Was because of turn 3.
Wow, 69.
That's unbelievable because he was so far behind after 1 and 2.
It's the high. He entered high, stayed against the wall. That allowed him to go to the throttle sooner.
Right now.
Chase Briscoe, welcome to the playoffs. Because it's just this is how it's gonna be for the next 10 weeks. It is truly like a heavyweight fight. They just trade punches.
I had no idea you could gain that much time in 3 and 4, Jeff.
I felt like it was, I didn't know you could either, but I felt like it was out there because I just think there's more speed in doing that. Entering high into the corner. It makes the exit so much better. A car that makes grip can go faster, and that's what we saw with Hamlin.
William Byron on the pole in the spring, not going to be on the pole for the Southern 500. 7th so far.
No season like the postseason. It's just so much different in every sport. This isn't just a NASCAR. Every sport. I mean, this is why the fans watch. Ross said he had good fire-off speed. Yes. Really disappointed with where his car went on the long run. But then he turned his attention, even in the interview, to today. Hey, it's about this 1 lap. We're going to worry about our balance on the long run tomorrow. Really nice 1 and 2.
Got a shot with Hamlin here.
It's going to be hard to match what Hamlin did, though. Jeff pointed it out when it was happening live, just how good the 11 figured it out.
You know, Denny Hamlin's not the greatest qualifier in the world, Jeff, but when he can find that level of speed on a Saturday, the rest of the field should worry for Sunday.
He's pretty good here as well. This suits his style, this racetrack.
How about Shane Van Gisbergen? Finished 20th in the spring. That does not tell the story, Steve. He had to come from the back of the field twice to make that happen.
He does, and you know, we talked some this week with all these drivers, but SVG said just simply the laps has really hurt him. He goes, you come here, you only get 1 set of tires of practice. I'm kind of trying to figure it out. He gets better and better and better as he runs. So I think the goal here is no damage, no contact with anything. He's going to qualify somewhere just inside the top 20. There you go, 16th with a handful of left. He's going to qualify. That's a great job by SVG of being in the mix, right? Coming back to a very tough place where tires lose grip and being close.
Go finish top 20.
Oh, if he does that, that is
really
absolute.
1 and 2.
Everything he needs to do between playoff points and others' mistakes.
And also, that qualifying effort helps him from getting lapped, right?
Totally.
He's doesn't have great pace, gets him started mid-pack. That's a big advantage.
Gibbs cars first and second. Let's see what Christopher Bell can do.
He was on the chip as well.
It's not center of the corner he needed.
I'm going to tell you, you better be in the green going into 3. I'm not sure anyone's going to match Hamlin. I think you might beat his lap, but I don't think you're going to beat him through 3 and 4. You better figure it out down in 1 and 2. Because Hamlin didn't have it off 2, right? He gained it all in 1 end. So if you put the 2 magic ends together, it's out there.
Josh Berry, he'll tell you Darlington, one of his better racetracks. Finished 3rd here in the Cup car last May.
He was good in practice, too. Didn't have great pace in practice, but he was good. Faster than Hamlin into 3. Now let's see, Steve, if he can carry the speed through 3 and 4.
I don't think he's going to be able to do it, but that 1 and 2 is going to save him time overall. So there you go. You take Josh Berry's 1 and 2 and Denny Hamlin's 3 and 4, and you're going to have about a 28-60.
I tell you what, though, if I'm Miles Stanley as crew chief and Josh Berry, I'm happy sitting 3rd right now.
Those two have done a really, really good job all year long. They're in this playoffs not just because he won a race. They had a solid year, solid regular season.
Chase was a half a tenth off even getting into the corner. Like, he didn't have a good 3 and 4. This is not going to be what the driver of the 9 is looking for.
Talked about that lack of firewall speed in practice, but being so good on the long run. Wonder where this will put the 9 team to start tomorrow night.
16th, 17th, 18th.
Wow, 19th.
There's your perspective. I thought 18th for SVG was amazing. Chase Elliott right behind him. I feel the opposite for him, right? This is a track I would have hoped they would have qualified better. Now, look, it's 500 miles, but what a ride. Buckle up.
2 cars left. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney. Let's see what Larson can do.
Early was that downshift into turn 3?
That's so wild.
I felt like he was still on the straightaway.
It is crazy how you look at those times through 3 and 4. It just shows you how strong Denny Hamlin was through that portion of the track, like we've been talking about.
The Denny Hamlin converted Ohio State fan got a big game today. I don't know if he'll be watching that later.
Larson winds up 5th. Final car, Ryan Blaney with a shot at Denny Hamlin.
Be hard to get this done. That far back, heading to turn 3.
Denny just gave us a nope. He's not gonna do it. If he didn't get me in 1 and 2, he feel like he's already smiling. He knows the answer.
Ryan Blaney comes to the line, pretty far behind Denny Hamlin. Gonna be Denny Hamlin on the pole for the Southern 500 after winning here in the spring. And Mamba Smith's hanging out with him.
Yeah, down here with Denny Hamlin. He's making some laps with Chase Briscoe. Chase said that you ripped turns 3 and 4. How'd that car feel?
It turned. You know, we struggled with the balance really all during race practice, and so we made some good adjustments there to go 1 lap, and felt like it was really good. The Sport Clips Toyota did everything I needed it to do, and yeah, it's awesome to come here and get a pole.
You've won here before a few times. Do you feel like this car has what it takes on the long run to get it done again?
We're going to have to work on it. We definitely have some work to do, no doubt about it. But starting up front is certainly a big advantage. We'll go back, reset tonight, do a bunch of work, and we'll be stronger tomorrow.
Denny Hamlin feeling good about his number 11 Toyota.
How about this? For all the success that Denny Hamlin's had, Chris Gale leading the charge this year, his second Darlington pole. Just his second Darlington pole after all those wins, Jeff. Yeah. Dave, who are you hanging out with?
Well, that'd be Chase Briscoe, who was pretty good on his qualifying lap, and then that teammate went out there and did that. How close was it for you from behind the wheel?
That one stings, because I definitely could have went faster. I just underdrove 3 and 4. My 1 and 2 I knew was really good, and I just didn't want to go down into 3 and overdo it and hit the wall or something, and I just underdrove. But I'm sure every driver in the field, right, if they could go do it again, could go faster. So yeah, that one will sting for a while, just knowing all the crown jewels and everything. But overall, good recovery for our Bass Pro Shops Toyota team. Practice we're not great, so another great recovery by the guys to turn this thing around and put ourselves into position at least for tomorrow. So that's the main goal, is the playoffs. 4 crown jewel poles would have been awesome, but the overall champion would be even better. So yeah, got ourselves a good start to the playoffs, and hopefully can cap it off again tomorrow.
How would you describe that delta you've been working on all year with James and the whole crew on getting from practice, which may not have been great, to 6 poles? Could have been a 7th today, but I mean, you got to make that transition for the race tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun just to see our progress. I feel like, especially internally, right? If you look at the first 10 races of the year versus the last 15, it's 2 totally different race teams. So yeah, typically I would be panicked if we got out after practice and we're off like that. But with these guys, I know they're going to get me right. And yeah, I think today was honestly surprising for all of us, just how far off we were unloading. That's not what we had expected, at least is the way we missed it. So yeah, we're going to look at it tonight, and we'll be good tomorrow, I'm sure.
All right, Chase, thanks a lot. Guys, you talked about that expectation level for him this year with this race car. Well, what about that? No panic situation either. They just go out, they figure out how to do it.
Yeah, it seems like they can find the combination to make it right for the race tomorrow. Jeff, Look at the starting grid, all the top 12 playoff drivers.
Yeah, this is what you wanted. If you're any of these guys in these first 5 rows, you know, some of them weren't great laps, but they were good enough to get the playoffs started on the right foot.
Yeah, start out of the mix and have a decent stall for the 9 or 10 pit stops you're going to have tomorrow night. And then we start to see that. Spoilers we talked about. Will it be Chris Buescher or Swerves or Jones? Will one of these non-playoff drivers steal that guaranteed advancement by winning a race here in the first round?
You mentioned SVG, 20th, not a bad start for him, but Steve brought the point for Chase Elliott, 21st, certainly not what they want.
And how about Alex Bowman in row 15, Jeff? Yeah. He's the worst of the playoff guys. No penalty yet. Remember, no points paid today, but he's already starting kind of on his back.
That pit stall selection, not going to be good for that 48 team.
Not good for the 48, but Mamba pit stall selection for the 11 is going to be premier, sitting on the front row.
Yes, it is. I'm standing by with Chris Gale. Chris, we're talking about pit selection. How important is that going to be now that you guys get to pick that?
Yeah, the opening out in stall 1, right? All the yellow flag stops, that'll be critical. So at least we get that one now, right? We have that one in our favor. We still got to work on the car a little bit, right? We need a little bit on the short run in practice. Thankfully, what we did there in qualifying, I hope will give us a direction for the short run for the race.
So you talk about that. What are you looking for a balance? Do you and Denny already know where you're headed? Do you feel good about that?
Yeah, we know what we need. We just, unfortunately, practice with one set of tires. You really can't come down, you know, pit road, stop, and make a change that you feel like is going to be valid.
Chris Gale and this group is ready to go to war tomorrow, guys.
Thank you, Mama. Steve, I want to touch on something that Chris Gale mentioned there with that pit stall number 1. He said it'll help us for yellow flag stops. They had the advantage of not being in pit stall 1 in the spring, and under that stop they were able to roll more speed. That's one of the reasons they were able to beat William Byron off of pit road on that final stop of the race here in the spring.
Yeah, pit stall 1, right? So that you can go all the way to this yellow line. This is where pit road speed ends. So under caution, it's a real advantage because you just got to roll forward. Under green, not as much of an advantage. I'm not even sure you can get to pit road speed by that yellow line. These guys know that exact calculation. Maybe you can kind of get there, but that's the advantage. And the big thing is you don't even have to turn the wheel. You just get to drop the jack, leave the wheel straight. Dale, what I'm thinking is, as a driver, Jeff, the rear tires just grip up. If you don't have to turn the wheel and let the car accelerate straight, I just think you have less wheel spin, which allows it to advance.
And if you get a race where there's a lot of cars in the lead lap, you're not going to get blocked in. You're not inhibited by leaving your pit road. So it is a big advantage. And you could see the excitement from Chris Gale and Denny Hamlin. Start of the playoffs, they were fired up about this pole. They know the advantage it creates. And that's what you want, right? You've been working the entire season to get to this point. And where are we? We're not as good as we need to be in practice. We made a change. We stepped up. We overcame adversity. We sat on the pole. First win of the playoffs goes to this team.
And I want to go back to those initial comments from Denny Hamlin saying, hey, not the feel I want in the car. That's a driver who knows what he wants from a race car when it comes to Darlington. We're just starting a very busy day for the NASCAR world. Coming up from Darlington, the Craftsman Truck Series race on FS1. That's at noon. Then Xfinity Series practice and qualifying on the CW app out in Portland. And the race this evening, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on the CW. Tomorrow, USA starts the Cup Series playoffs from here at Darlington with the Southern 500. So for Denny Hamlin, he's going to be on the pole to start the playoffs at one of his best racetracks. Certainly advantageous if you can win any first race in a round. That would automatically put them into the next round of the playoffs for Denny Hamlin and his team if they can pull it off tomorrow night. Well, it was an early